Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I'm Mantis.
and today we are discussing Justice League Unlimited issue number 10. Mantis, you were supposed to hold yours up too. Damn
Oh,
it.
sorry.
That up. Now I gotta go. And I already said, we're 30 seconds into the damn video. You know what? Just start the video. All right, guys. So before we get on into the issue, I don't know how anybody else feels, but with Justice League, I feel like it's longer than a month before we get the next issue. I feel like we've been out of this for a lot longer than we have with the Absolutes. I just feel like maybe it's because there's so many, they're coming up quicker. But issue number 10 opens up to we see the shrunken Doomsday. I say that just because he looks so much smaller as Time Trapper. But we see Doomsday. He is in hyper time and he is being chased by somebody. They found me. Run for it, Marty.
Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Run for it, Marty!
So we quickly find out that it is Darkseid's Legion chasing him. And the weird thing, it says the metahumans that Superman should have inspired, but things have changed. Also, it references that Doomsday has killed Superman before, right? Doomsday's challenged gods before, but now things are kind of changed. Doomsday wouldn't be one that's worried about things chasing him,
especially with his power at this point. And well, then I guess I don't know. Okay, they're all powered by Omega Energy, I'm assuming at this point. So who the knows?
Yeah, right. It's kind of we're taking things in a little bit different of a turn, and again, we don't know exactly at what point and how long he's been Time Trapper for here. We're just kind of getting it all dropped into us, which is actually what happens. Is he drops into the watchtower there, so he's in the rec room with a couple of the other heroes. Landed. He has taken some pretty serious beatings, and that's it. Into issue. No,
okay. I mean, actually, Superman went full like one man or one punch man on him too, like just straight through him, like blew a hole in him.
Yes. So apparently these legions that of Darkseid now, which is interesting, includes at least some form of a Kryptonian, but you do see the Superman symbol in there too. So
we assume it's him. I mean, it'd be weird if Doomsday or Time Trapper like made reference to that. With him on the page, it looks just like him. It could be somebody else, but
so elsewhere though in the Watchtower, while they deal with Doomsday, we see Batman and he's speaking to Red Tornado, or at least the hologram of Red Tornado, and he's like, "Hey, I need to actually talk to you, person to person." Okay. Kind of needs him to weigh in on a disagreement that Wonder Woman and he and Superman were having. Because if you remember in the last issue, they were having that kind of secret meeting at the old Mount Justice. And it, in part is about Airwave. The gang's arguing about what happened to Airwave and the mistakes they made, kind of having been blindsided by the Legion of Doom. They continue to argue about how Clark just handed out the Justice League cards, because if you remember at the very beginning, actually in the All In DC special where this kind of all started, every hero got a Justice League card, right?
We actually got them. We got them at our comic book store.
Yes,
got them. Where mine's at?
Mine's in my wallet over there. Okay. But yes, even we got Justice League cards, and I don't think we need to be in there, but we are. Deal with it. So what's kind of funny, what strikes me about this is it's kind of an important page here, is because I felt like Superman did something that was kind of out of character, because as he's kind of getting, I won't say berated, but as they're talking about him handing out, Justice League Justice League, the Watchtower cards to everybody, he says, well, "Aren't you the one that gave Jason Todd a Robin outfit?" And I'm like, that's a pretty low blow for Superman. Superman normally doesn't kind of stoop to that. I thought it was a great line, right? Because you're like,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, it's true. By the way,
go, no, he did.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's over there. Oh no, he didn't. That's a pretty, when you know what Jason Todd did, which if you're watching this channel and you're watching this episode, you should be familiar with it. Like that's pretty powerful line. So. But they're talking about, they bring up how like Clark is just so trusting of everybody, which it kind of reminded me of the Superman movie when Lois is like, "Why does he trust everybody?" And to be fair, though, all the people he was trusting are also of the cloth.
Why does he trust everyone?
He doesn't. Just us, because we are also of the cloth.
Of the cloth?
You know, so it's kind of like, okay, he was just trusting other heroes. But Batman points out to Red Tornado that they have or points out that Red Tornado is the ultimate kind of background research tool that they could use to run background checks on the other members. Okay. Now, obviously, not everybody's the biggest fan of that. Clark's called away, but wants to finish the talk. They want to reconvene before they decide anything. But clearly, Batman isn't necessarily listening to that. As you see, he's already talking to Red Tornado.
Yeah, he's not having it.
So we go back to the Watchtower, the Rec Room, Doomsday, Time Trapper. He's dying, right? And, Black Lightning kind of points out that it's Darkseid's energy signature, right, that did this. But the amount of energy that it would take to leave Doomsday in that condition is like unimaginable. Like, it's scary. Like we were just saying, I mean, he's gone toe to toe with some of the most powerful characters in the universe here, right? So to leave him in that kind of condition, that's some serious power that they're probably now going to have to contend with. So Wally kind of goes in to investigate. He's trying to get a little bit closer of a look, and as he does, we basically see what looks like his body just kind of ripped through time, kind of like Scott when they push time through him, not him through time, kind of a thing.
It's baby.
It's Scott.
As a baby.
He'll grow.
He gets pulled back, and obviously he kind of returns to form. I'm assuming it is the actual, just because he's away from the defenses of Time Trapper's body, and not necessarily that's just his body healing itself, because obviously he has rapid healing. But they point out there that that's kind of his Time Trapper's automated defenses, and anybody gets close to him is going to be susceptible to that. So how are they going to save him?
It's actually kind of interesting. It reminds me of Batman v Superman, when Superman gets revived and Cyborg's body that's got it's got the same kind of power, the mother box power in it, that auto defenses took over, and because it deemed Superman a threat and started firing at him. Kind of the same thing here. And maybe, I know Wally has healing powers as well, a little, as much as speedsters can. But yeah, maybe it's just a localized field. If you get out of there quick enough, it's not permanent, because he doesn't stay old like that. So
yeah, it's kind of weird, but we're gonna get even weirder when we just kind of randomly switch over to Markovia, and we see Geoforce, and he's trying to keep this area of town from falling apart, right? And we literally we get to, I think, if I'm saying his name wrong, how bad we are about name, but with Kadios there, like, we get, was that how you would say it?
I think, yeah, that's how I would say it.
I'm gonna go with that. That they're trying to save people. Now, of course, he kind of looks like a demon himself, so some of the kids and things that he's trying to save are looking a little scared getting help from him. But it's kind of cool to see, again, we're seeing more of these kind of lesser known characters come into this, right? At first it kind of just looks like a big sinkhole, right? And then Captain Adam's quick to point out that out to Kadios, and I think that's Power Girl. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, you see her in that suit with the big ass titties. Like, I'm thinking Power Girl.
Titties? I want you to take the front door.
But that's just the third of these pits that he's managed to track down. And it kind of reminds him of the pits on Apocalypse, except this one, there's obviously no flames and anything come out of that, which of course does not last very long, because no sooner than they say that, boom, eruption. The pits erupt. Geoforce he's worried about his people, obviously, because he's the prince of the of those people of Markovia. I believe it's all of Markovia, but he's worried about his people. But they tell him, hey, we've already got people on it, but we, as she says, we got to get to the bottom of this. Got to figure out how to extinguish the pits.
Don't say it.
Yeah, right. Don't say. We all have that one corny joke. Now, here's something interesting. So we go back to the Watchtower, but now we're back to the holding cells. We see Mr. Terrific, and he's talking to a parademon, which is, if you remember from, I believe they even say it in here, it's like issue 2. They found that parademon that could speak, and we kind of get a small idea of Darkseid's plan, which was apparently he has these parademons on Earth to guard these eggs, but then this parademon also comes to the realization that he wasn't just sent there to guard these eggs, he was also sent for incubation, and then boom, out of a chest like a freaking face hugger, all of a sudden it just explodes with little itty bitty parademons.
Darkseid seemed to have studied ancient Greek history with the Trojan horse tactic, and seemed to have paid off. So,
yeah, it works every time, and we just keep falling for it, right? So we don't spend a whole lot of time there. We don't even get to actually see the parademons, the little small parademons coming out yet. But we're going to go right back to the rec room to figure out what they're going to do with Doomsday. Which I don't know. That's just kind of weird to even say that they got to save Doomsday.
I know it's on the front cover too, and I was like, "Wait, what is going on here?" Right?
It's like, do we though? do we gotta? But in this iteration, with him being Time Trapper, apparently we do. So we see Martian Manhunter there, and obviously, we've got Dr. Calder there, from Doom Patrol, and he's going to create this psychic link because Dr. Calder obviously is, an expert in xenobiology. So not xenomorphs necessarily, but xenobiology. And, they're going to have this other person do the surgeries, and they're just going to connect the psychic link. And we get to see, and it's kind of weird because he kind of looks like a serial killer. So, at first you almost look at him and you're like, I don't know who that is at first, but we know the purple arm. We've already seen him in that way. We know that is our good old friend Metamorpho. He is the only one that's going to be able to get close to Time Trapper because he's obviously not made of flesh and blood. He is made up of elements. We know our core base elements. They don't get eroded. They don't disintegrate with time. So
it's convenient there,
isn't it though? And it's convenient that because we had Metamorpho in the Superman movie. So we go back to Markovia and we see several of the team just falling down into this lava fire pit. I'm going to say it's fire pit. I don't really think they've ever done lava. They're not fucking volcanoes, but they're trying to get to the bottom, quite literally, of what seems to be the pit. And as they're falling, they're kind of having this discussion of, obviously, the fire pits on Apocalypse, they're used as basically like forges, which have forged the weaponry that they use on Apocalypse, where this one just doesn't really seem to be doing much. They get to the bottom of this, and Mantis and I were discussing this off camera. Guys, let me know. I don't know. I was trying to look up information, if anybody had any information, but we see this massive hand coming out of the bottom of the ground, and it's kind of like trying to reach for them. And of course, they're like, what the holy living fuck?
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, it's definitely not a weapon like that we would think of, but maybe it's Darkseid's new weapon. I don't know. Like it
could be Ruby weapon.
It could be, yeah. Could be a Titan or something wild.
7 reference.
Yep.
So we aren't going to stay with it for very long. They're doing that whole thing again where we're going to jump back every other page. We're jumping to a different time in a different area because we're going to go back in surgery to Metamorpho. He's working to try to save him, trying to repair whatever, and he says, you got to go fix whatever's passing for lungs in his body because I don't know what it's going to look like in there. God only knows. So the problem now we run into is it seems that Time Trapper's body, the radiation that's coming off of it, and it's coming out in like a field, kind of like the time field is eroding. It's eating the Watchtower. All the while we get to see what happened with Mr. Terrific and the other sentient talking parademon. We see the itty bitty parademons kind of start crawling out. They look cute though. They don't look evil.
Not yet.
So time seems to be running out. No pun intended. for all of the leaguers, right? Because we got the pages, we're seeing what's going on with Time Trapper and a couple of different friends. We're seeing this large hand. It looks like he's got titties already. And then of course we see Mr. Sorry, I had to throw that in there because it's Power Girl, but also, you know, if you've watched Peacemaker episode 2, that he's calling the one girl titties. So it seemed appropriate.
Hang on, titties.
Hang in there, titties. So, we see again, kind of similar. Next page is kind of the same thing. We're getting a little bit more, but we're not really getting anything, right? We just see a Metamorpho there working on a Doomsday. You know, we don't know where it's going to go. It's trying to leave us in this. Okay, we got to guess what's going on, and I think because I'll say this here, that ends the issue. One of the issues that I think people have had with the Justice League Unlimited series is it jumps around a lot. There's a lot going on because, again, and Mantis had pointed out to me when we were talking about the Jason Todd thing is that, you know, the few times you get to see our core heroes, it's kind of all arguing and bickering and stuff like that. And then we have all of these other characters and we just keep adding more and more characters and plot lines. And then it's like, what are we building to? Because I felt like we did all of this build up to the Legion of Doom Inferno, and that was wiped out in like half. I mean, not even half the comic. It was done.
Yeah, they were gone. They had taken care of
A couple pages.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think the thing you just mentioned it, like the main characters, the main founding members of the Justice League being the three that they showed specifically in this issue, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, seem to always just be bitching at each other, bickering and complaining. And it's everyone else, including Mr. Terrific and you know, some of these other ones, even not ones from the future they couldn't get home yet. They're the ones saving people that have to save Doomsday. Like, why isn't Red Tornado like, hey, Batman, by the way, this crazy shit's going down. Where's Superman right now? Like, I don't know. Just seems like a lot going on here with the Apocalypse, you know, fire pits. Is this a case where he is trying to turn Earth into Apocalypse? I mean, that was the whole premise of of Justice League the movie, right? Like that was the whole premise of that. They come to Earth to try and turn. I believe that's kind of his whole spiel, is to turn Earth into Apocalypse, or remnants of his Earth, or not his Earth. Turn Earth into remnants of his homeworld, or the one he created, I should say. Yes.
Had to do it.
But yeah. Again, this has all got Darkseid on it. But okay, so there are Darkseid's Legion, we'll just call them that have infused Omega energy, and we're seeing the Apocalypse pits. Is Darkseid gonna show up? Like, or I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna have to repair Doomsday because he's gonna have to help them fight against these guys that almost killed him, right? Like, because if they could do that to Doomsday, there's no way anyone's gonna be able to fight against them. There's no way.
Well, I think because, and this is kind of the weird thing, right? Because like with the Absolute Universe, we're on issues 11 of like Batman and Wonder Woman, right? And I think Superman will be coming out in the next week or two, right? So it's been 11 months. So we are a year out basically from the all-in DC special. So I think and I'm not going to speak for her, but like for me, I know I kind of forget that Darkseid merged with the Spectre. That was his wish, right? That was the whole thing with the Miracle Machine, is that. And he disappeared and everybody says, oh, Darkseid died. We don't know exactly what happened with Darkseid. You know, the Spectre has the ability to cross over multiple universes and everything. I mean, he's one of the most powerful, at least in my opinion. I don't think I'm alone in this, but he is one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe, right? We don't know that he's dead. He could be doing all of this and infusing people with Omega energy and creating all of this stuff, you know, in the shadows. We know he's in the Absolute universe. Mantis has been doing an amazing job with the Martian Manhunter. We saw him in that, right? We know he's in the Justice League. We know he's in the Mr. Terrifics, everything going on. So he's in everything right now. So, and it could be that it's because of this new power he has being, merged with the Spectre. So, but I feel like it's like, where are we going? I don't know. The issues are a little chaotic for me, I think. And part of it is because, we're reading the Absolutes right now where you're focused on one character, right? Maybe if they do a crossover in the Absolute universe, it'll get a little more hectic. I don't particularly necessarily want that, because I love where we can focus on just this one person storyline each comic, versus here we're all over the place. There's like 5 different plots going all at the same time. It's a bit hard to keep up with. I can understand where people have some reticence about starting or continuing with this series because it is a little muddled.
I would agree. The last page here, everyone, and you said it's like everyone's in trouble here. These pits are opening up, fires coming out with giant Titan hands flying out. The Time Trapper is about to die. He needs saved, and then Mr. Terrific is getting smoked by these parademons. So, where's our heroes at? And I say heroes. Where's the main heroes at here? Where are they at?
Well, we know Batman is actually on the Watchtower talking to Red Tornado, right? So, like, maybe
Sure, yeah.
push a little button, get your life alert button out there, Mr. Terrific. The weird thing is the one parademon was in the containment cell. So even though he, gestated all of these other ones, they shouldn't be able to get out of the containment cell, but it looked like they did. Now where Superman is, what he got called off to, and where's Wonder Woman is, kind of like one of those things of like, hey, do you guys maybe want to stay on the Watchtower a little bit, hang out, spend some time? Because they've done a lot of little tricks to keep the main heroes out, like saying, oh, well, we can't have 2 of the same hero from different times and different universes in the same area together. They'll disappear, right? So it's like, oh, our heroes had to go away, so they're safe. They've done all these little things to keep the main heroes out of this. And it's kind of
frustrating.
Well, because it's like, I get it's Justice League Unlimited, right? Now, if you remember from the original Superman, the animated series, when they formed the Justice League, it was the core members, whereas the Justice League Unlimited cartoon that it spawned from was where they started bringing everybody in this. So this fits right to that. But the core group was still the main, focal point. They are the Justice League. So I don't know. I feel like that's just when you add all of that together, that's where people are kind of struggling with this one.
Well, there's all this shit's going on, and they're worried about getting background checks. I'm just like,
Airwave, I get you're trying to help with this freaking Earth Titan that's coming out of the fire pit here, but we ran your credit report. There's a couple of things in here that are a little concerning. Yeah, maybe we're not prioritizing the way we should. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see where it's going. I still enjoy it. I still like it because I know all of the main core heroes, so it is kind of interesting to get a little more insight and a little more just everything with some of these lesser known heroes. So I like it. Hopefully you guys did too. If you did, might as well go ahead and give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel. Because again, we're going through the Justice League and all of everything going on in the Absolute. I'm doing Mr. Terrific as well. However, it doesn't seem to be going over well with the popular vote there, so I may stop that. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to keep doing the Mr. Terrific, as well as how are you feeling about the Justice League? So Mantis, what do you want to tell the folks?
Just as same as in the last one, and you mentioned earlier, like if you're like the comic books, let us know. There's ones we should be doing, let us know. But definitely check out all of our Absolute series. We're doing all of those, and all those are fantastic because I didn't even think about it. I completely agree with you. I like the fact that I can focus on just one storyline for the most part in all of the Absolute series. So I think we've talked about it. I think they're probably going to do some sort of crossover probably, But that's fine as long as it's like an issue or 2 or 3. I'm okay with that. Just don't abandon the full line. So
Yeah, because you're getting a lot of great insight, especially since this is a completely different universe, right? So
Yeah.
everything going on. I don't know. I'm struggling with whether I like Batman or Superman better in the absolute. I'm gonna go
both of
Superman,
them are good.
but Batman's getting real fucking good. Mantis is doing an amazing job on that. If you haven't, it's already out. Issue number 11 is out. And we get a lot of for a man who does not like origin stories, he did a great job on that because 11 is Bane's origin story, but they do a great job with it too. So check
They
that
do. You're exactly right. Like this will be my last thing before we wrap up here. You guys know if you've been a fan of this channel or subscribe, I do not like origin stories. However, Bane's has been told a few times, a few different ways. This is just a kind of another one, but they stick with the core elements there, and I think they did a real good job with it. Bane's character is correctly portrayed in this in the sense that he is not just a complete moron big guy. That is not who Bane is. And I mean, he's got a family and kids in this. So it
weird. Like I was like,
a little bit, but when you guys, we're not ruining it, but watch that video. I'm telling you, the everything how Bane is and what he does to Batman, it really does make sense on his approach. Now he's probably being used again by Dr. J there, but it is what it is there. Go check it out. It's really good.
yes. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us here on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Later.